when you know how to be yourself, and that is in the different ways we talk about through one-to-one mentorship, our groups, through the Ask Maria content, through the inner growth mindset, everything that I get to share with you when on personal development, self-help journeys, spirituality, awakening guidance, so true spirituality, 5D mystic journey, okay? When all of these aspects, which involve your inner child and you, the adult, so your emotions and thoughts are yours, your behaviors are yours, you have the capacity to disengage from any and all that are 7 to 14 charming. So you know, good educators, those are the ones who are expanding on their concepts all the time, and you know when there's good educators, but they're tainting it. Okay, so when I find the sex therapists that are tainting stuff, the childhood therapists, the personality disorder therapists, anyone who's a therapist that is not within the spectrum of expanding consciousness, I will spot it in very specific ways, as well as spiritual and spirituality bypassers. That's because they will have a way of romanticizing, so one-upping, putting on a pedestal the aspects that they prefer, or one downing, demonizing. So anytime I got a one up or one down and I don't got the land of neutrality, meaning the land of objectivity, I'm going to know because I can hear the words that are being used, and that's what's going to catch my ear. Okay, so when you know how to be yourself authentically with a integrated brain approach, it's because you take self-worth and your self-love seriously, and you don't actually follow another human being on a pedestal or on a beneath. No, you have healthy self-worth. So you in here are open-hearted, and that's when you'll be okay to also be by yourself. Now, some people, they have this hollow feeling and this void and this pull. Okay, so our mammalian heritage, our attachment system, we all have as your 1-year-old, and there's a lot that could be said about that. We won't say much right now, but we'll talk more tomorrow. I got some stories for you already planned out. I don't want to spoil it. I decided to give you a little bit of a brief introduction to our conversations. And okay, being by yourself, it's happy here. Now, the ones who think that we pretend to smile, they are the ones who have that Zen master who talks about laundry in the body. They're the ones who also follow, again, the tainted therapist group who continue to give them archetypes and stories. And so those are called spiritual bypass therapists. There's the ones who do not have their healed anything of their trauma yet. They just have all the people coming with them. And we have the, I think it's survival complex or something like that. There's a name for them. The ones who are good therapists try to share that with other people. And so I don't use buzzwords. I like to expand on conversations. But the part that I also am mostly trying to do is say enlightenment the human way, restorative embodiment, using your prefrontal cortex, getting integration of the brain, and the inner growth mindset supports you to get those thoughts and emotions, and to keep in mind, obviously, with your own self-awareness, accountability, and regulation, one, those behaviors, but two, that thoughts and emotions are not truths. They're not irrefutable facts, nor our feelings, and that we have a buttload of academics out there, and they don't know everything. None of them do. So you don't become a flat earther either, though. But you know, if somebody says yoga brings demons out of you, no, that's not the case, because you'll know about trauma memory and trauma charges, because attachment researchers, therapists, neuroscientists, they're all over the place. So if you're a person who's grounded in reality, 5D mystic or 5D person, integrated consciousness means Christ consciousness. There's an honor in the name, not in the ancient textbooks that they keep using to talk about Lucifer and demons and evil. That's called, again, demonizing or romanticizing any person is dehumanizing. And that means you're ungrounded from reality in my book, because you are taking out of context every single person, and the attachment and trauma education has given me the capacity to know that all people are healable, and neuroscience included. Thank you, Patrick McNamara. No demon possesses anyone. With that being said, okay, even being by yourself, you have a good time. Happiness, not sadness. Emotions of sadness can arise. Emotions of anger arise, but when you are an emotionally available person to yourself and mentally, you have a good time. Emotions last 90 seconds. There's the ability for you to become your own full-fledged safe haven, secure base. And so secure attachment, for one, those of us who have had it, and then we maintain differentiation of the self, we know who we are. Use your human name, okay? And then all your child parts, they become one whole self. They stay with you, and in fact, my tones, they go up and down and change. And if I really wanted to pinpoint them, I'm pretty sure I could find a 3-year-old there besides when I get reactive with my mother and my twin. And that is exactly why any person who has an adaptive child behavior and or maladaptive child behavior wants to be with the people who know how to be their true self, because true self means healthy self-worth. It means you don't end up a Pinocchio with a wooden body with a Stromboli who becomes a monster, which is instead what people who do have the maladaptive adaptive child behavior do. They end up in codependent type relationships because they have that hollow feeling and they don't recognize their childhood trauma until they do. When they do, that's where we welcome all people at IHP. And I'm very happy to see that there are those who are authentically healing, and therefore they're going to be looking for the 5D collective of the people that we're building over here. And that's where any type of inner growth mindset is supporting anyone who wants to master to be reliant on their own sense of self-worth in a way that involves one, self-love, not some other person. You don't need another person to love yourself. You need yourself to be able to understand, but obviously you live with people. So you also want to be sure that you have open communication. So you're reliant on your own sense of self-worth with love and inner growth, the capacity to notice emotions and thoughts, to present them. If you have a tone, you learn how to manage it, because that's a flexible, adaptive, coherent, energized, stable brain, and that's the functional adult love language. So you are moving towards integration and secure attachment thanks to those relationships, because it's with relationships where you can be yourself authentically while working on those maladaptive child behaviors that you will get out of the core content, which involves shame and blame and fault and revenge, or other aspects. Core content, Dr. Daniel Fox is really great for his list, involves guilt and some other stuff. But when people who are in a spectrum of not secure attachment, and then they have personality disorders, and so they have maladaptive child behavior traits, they end up in these unhealthy relationships where their beliefs patterns and the maladaptive conversation that their family in the head, so shame, guilt, blame, again, and revenge, because they will have come from homes that were not child-centric with secure attachment. And so in those relationships that are not healthy, they're not positive, they will be reinforced with shame, blame, guilt. And then they will continue to have that surface content structure, their personality traits to come about. Okay, and that's why those who do push and pull, they don't recognize that they're trying to, for one, jello with someone else. That's when you see the ones who think they're power couples. Yeah, I've noticed them. A person who is a secure attachment, healthy self-worth woman, man, or they will notice who is not a whole person because of the way they get. They get clingy or they get distant. Okay, so being by yourself is really straightforward when you're able to move along the journey of becoming a person, and then being with people is also straightforward. Partners are ideal when they're securely attached and or want to be securely attached, when they are a whole self or want to become a whole self, when they know how to talk, here are my thoughts and my emotions, and here are my behaviors, and here's how I'm physically working with my lens, and how I'm trying to be more aware, accountable, regulating. Okay, we work to be with people who are authentically being their emotional, mental, and physical self. And that's what IHP is all about. It's inspiring the infinite higher human conscious potential experience. You can be yourself, and you can be okay with being by yourself. The hollow feeling doesn't need to stay. Doesn't mean you're going to be alone. It means you're going to get to be your own 1-year-old. And that's in the meantime as you look to meet people that have healthy self-worth. So this is the other part. When I meet women, men, or theys who are dying, they want the one. Okay, so I say go to apps and get good therapy and have that be written there. Say, I want long-term relationship and commitment. Oh, but that will never work. You don't know. If you don't try, you can't know. So the part about, it's very straightforward. If you know what you want, you're going to write what you want. You're going to get it sooner or later. That's it. And partners, believe me, since we're all mammals, there's going to be people who want healthy self-worth people, is what I tell them. And they say, no, don't you see, Maria? All people want suffering. Like they told Stephen Porges, who was going to write a book about what love is, which is only when you have secure attachment inside of you, because it means that you're in the oxytocin gene hormone. I know all about it, which is why we don't compromise who we are. This is who I am. You like it, great. If I'm not going to be able to be myself, then I won't be able to be with you at all. Not as a friend, not as romantic. That's not romantic at all. And you don't do. They chipped away at my self confidence. Healthy self worth people, when you're yourself, there's no confidence. This is what I am. But you what? I'm not killing myself because you don't like me. Excuse me. Did you not know that living life is a gift for some of us? So when you have no shame button, this is what it is. It says open heartedly, this is who I am. I'm not sensitive about it. You don't have to like me. I'm going to have fun. You're going to have fun. We're going to have fun. If that's something that you don't want, it's okay. We can be by ourselves, and we love to be around people. And as I was saying again, there's healthy self worth men, women, and theys out there. The ones who are not there, they're not there. But if you make it clear what you want, and then you have a therapist on call, and you make sure somebody adheres to that, that's where the good therapist. Because there's people like Terry Real. He helps any couple who wants to work with their unfinished business. So you can meet people of all types that will want long-term commitment. Or you can, do what other people do, which is continue to act like Pinocchio with the wooden body and be with Stromboli and stuff like that. So we'll be back with more. In the meantime, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being a part of the IHP community. If you have any topics you'd like me to discuss randomly, let me know. If you have the Ask Maria Opinionated Columnist request, that's for paid subscribers on the audio right now. One-to-one mentorship is available. Visit inspiringhumanpotential.com and stay tuned for when our masterclass will be ready. That'll be more of a group effort, but I might make some available to one-to-one. I'm still debating that. In the meantime, again, thank you so much. Have a great day.